excited. It's your girl Niche coming. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I am coming with the first episode of my podcast. Like, what? For those of you who know me, hello. For those of you who don't know me, what's good? I'm here. I'm ready. This is a long time coming. I am coming with a podcast called Laughing and Crying, as you know. And I'm going to start out, if it's okay, just introducing myself. My name is Niche, aka Nisha, whatevs. I'm a 30-something, newly married. I've been married for like a year and a half. I got married in North Carolina, and it was beautiful. I'm married to a beautiful baldy named Dre. He'll be here soon. I will definitely have him on. What else? I love the kiddos. I currently work with them. I am a trained chef. I'm in this new place and this new journey. And I think that just transitions me right into why I started the podcast. Because it's like, Niche, you're a trained chef. You work with kiddos. You love your life. You're newly married. That's hard in and of itself. You have friends. You do things. You're clearly an extrovert. It's not clear, but I'm an extrovert, guys. Just saying. And here I am making a podcast. So the reason I decided to do this is because it was time. When I got married, it was a transition of seasons that was super hard. It was difficult. And I'd only seen really people who got married when they were in their early 20s. I am a Christian. I love Jesus. And so that culture, what the culture brings is women who get married really early. And you're like, why are you getting married right now? But it's just part of the culture, and it's part of, you know, what it is. And so I'd only seen that, and I expected that, and that didn't happen for me, you know? And so I ended up getting married at 29, and I had already kind of settled into who I thought I was going to be as an adult. And so marriage hit me hard for a lot of reasons, all of the reasons that I cannot wait to share with wisdom here on the podcast, but I can't wait because the purpose of this podcast is to share. When I got married, I realized how much I did not know and how much people just don't think to say to you. I think there are people who don't want to say certain things because, you know, they don't want to discourage you because nobody's marriage is the same, you know? So they don't want to discourage you. And there's some people they don't want to give you false hope about what your marriage is going to be. And there's some people who like kind of just put the bad days behind them once they overcome and they don't really look back. And so what I've learned is that there needs to be a specific voice talking about walking out marriage and love. We're gonna, talk about all of that here on this podcast over many episodes. So we're gonna talk about marriage. We're gonna talk about dating. We're gonna talk about relationship. We're gonna talk about all of those things here. And what I'm so excited about is the fact that we're gonna talk about the hard stuff, the good stuff of marriage and just of being out here in these streets when dating, all of these types of things. We're going to talk about the messy stuff, the dirty stuff, the simple stuff, the miscommunicated stuff, the funny stuff, the embarrassing stuff, and guys, the shameful stuff. Because they don't talk about that, And by they, I mean people, by people, I mean me, and, I'm changing the tide on it. I'm starting to talk about it, okay? Yeah, and I just want this to be a place where honesty is welcome and vulnerability is welcome. But guys, fun is welcome because I'm here to bring the fun. If you don't believe me, just stick around. If you want to ask me, how did you come up with that name? Laughing and Crying. Because it sounds, first of all, contradictory. Here's the thing. I came up with the Laughing and Crying podcast because it's a little bit about part of my personality. I am someone who loves exploring deep conversations and vulnerability with people. I love relationship, right? But I can't go deep for long. So my husband, he's a little bit different than me. He can go deep and stay deep for a very long time. And we joke about it that he has scuba gear and I have snorkel gear, right? Like, he has scuba gear, he can go down deep, he can stay there. I need to come up for air. Air is my thing. And so here on the Laughing and Crying podcast, I want to go deep with levity. I think one of the things that hindered me specifically as an individual in marriage is taking myself too seriously. And I think sometimes what hinders people in life is taking themselves too seriously. And so here on the Laughing and Crying podcast, we're not going to do that. We're not going to take ourselves too seriously. We're just really, really not. At least I'm not. I'm making that commitment. And so the whole idea of laughing and crying is this idea of being in tune with your emotions, talking about the things that hurt, talking about the things that burn, talking about the things that are shameful and embarrassing, but then also having that levity where we can crack up, we can laugh at ourselves, we can, just, get a giggle out of making mistakes. Even if it is in marriage, even if it's like a big bomb mistake, we're gonna do it. And I'm challenging myself to it because I have a lot of stuff to share and not all of it's good, guys. And I don't mean that in a put a downer on the day thing. I just mean that there's some hard stuff that I am committing myself to sharing with the world. And I'm scared. Okay? I'm scared because there's all these questions. What are people going to think of me? Blah, 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 whatever. But the reality is I'm ready. And I think you're ready. And I just ask that you understand that the perspective that I'm bringing to this podcast is a 30-something. I'm not 20-something no more, guys. It's so sad. A 30-something millennial married woman who loves Jesus, is loud and proud Black, embraces Black culture, love my neighbor. That's the perspective I'm bringing. And I can't commit to anything else. I'm committing to learning because I'm going to have some expert guests on here, guys. I'm going to have friends on here. I'm going to have people on here to bring the fun and all that. And I'm committed to learning and keeping an open mind, but don't judge me if I already have a perspective. Like, this is where we're at. So, and I want to hear from you guys too. It's not just the people I'm bringing on. I want to hear in the comments. I want to hear all the things because I'm ready. Okay, so here's something that I am also committing to do on this podcast. It's a little segment I call Let Me Tell You a Story. This segment called Let Me Tell You a Story. I'm just going to tell you guys stories. It's funny. Stories about my life, stories about other people, stories about maybe my day, whatever. So, it's going to be funny. I'm going to tell you guys the story of me and my husband, how we met. And you know what? I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that because I'm going to have him on there and I wanted him to tell you how we met. But I'm going to tell you guys a story. And listen, with my commitment with telling you guys stories, they're probably going to be random. And the one story that comes to mind for me right now is a story in college. Okay, so we're taking it back. We're taking it way back. And most of these stories are probably going to be awkward encounters with guys. So it's going to be pretty funny. So married now, yep, had not always been that way. Okay. So I went to a college that none of the dorms were, or I'll say it this way, all of the dorms were co-ed. So there was a girls' room. They weren't, if you were in a room, it was one gender, but if in a hall, for instance, it was co-ed. So yeah, we're just, up in there. I had always heard stories that, oh, there's the girls' dorm and the guys' dorm. No, not my experience. Okay. I walked up in there, balls out. No, I'm just kidding. Not really balls out. Not really balls out, but you know what I mean. Like, there's just, I didn't have the adjustment, so I'm like, here, whatever. And it didn't bother me, but it's a new situation. I'm moving to college. I don't want to be embarrassing myself in front of people, especially cute guys down the hall. There was a cute guy down the hall. I'm just saying. I remember what I called him, which I don't even know if I want to say that on this podcast because he might even remember. So who knows? We're just going to call him C. Anyway, so C, tall guy, cute on campus, whatever. So, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about it. Okay, so one night, me and my roommate, we did this thing where whether or not we were both doing laundry, because the laundry room was, down the hall. So we would either both be doing laundry or one of us would be doing laundry. And we had like tea nights. So we would just make tea. We had a little coffee maker. We would boil water, or I don't remember how we did it. Whatever. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Anyway, so we made tea into these like tumblers or mugs or whatever we did. Anyway, so we're sitting down. We're having a tea night. I put the timer on the dryer. Was it the dryer? Yes, I put the timer on the dryer, whatever. So timer goes off. I'm like, okay, girl, I'm going to go down the hall, get my clothes, come back. Well, I walked down the hall and I realized when I got to the end of the hall, and I had my tea in my hand and everything, I realized when I get to the end of the hall, I didn't bring my hamper because, you got to bring your clothes back to your room. Well, I am sitting there and I'm like, okay, what I could do, because it's a long haul, guys. I mean, and I'm being lazy. That's just, we don't have to go there, but, I'm being lazy. And my room is like a little bit past halfway down the hall. So I'm like, okay, Nisha, you can do this. Well, here's the thing. What I had put in the dryer was literally all of my undergarments. Why did I put all of my undergarments in the dryer or in the wash to begin with? To put them in the dryer and all at the same time. I was just out in college. Like, I kind of knew how to do laundry, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Okay, so anyway, I am taking everything out of the dryer because I'm like, you know what? They're undergarments, whatever. They don't take that much room in your arms. You know what I'm saying? So I finally gather everything out of the dryer. Like what I do now at home where I'm going from the laundry room to my bedroom or something, like those, 6 steps or whatever. I decided to go halfway down a hallway in public space. I'm just saying, guys. Anyway, I got everything in my arms. You could probably see where this is going. So I'm walking down the hallway with my tea, because remember I brought the tea up. I got my tea. I got my clothes. If you want to call them clothes, I got my clothes in my hands. And guess who's coming down the opposite end? See him coming down the opposite end. Listen, I am like, Niche, get to your room. All you got to do, get to your room. You're almost there. Because I didn't want him to walk up on me. And I had all this stuff in my hand, and then he started a conversation, and all this, like, Lord. Anyway, and so he sees me, and we know each other, like, we talk. So it's not like he's gonna just, like, walk by me. So he sees me, and he, like, kind of waves, and I can't wave. Well, my hand, like, fidgets trying to wave, because, your body just tries to do the thing that it knows to do. And so, I realized that the tumbler of tea that's in my hand is slipping, guys. So I'm trying to like catch it. I'm trying to like catch the tumbler because I'm like, in my mind, tea is going to spill everywhere and that's going to be the worst thing that could ever happen. Right? Okay. Right. Okay. So it's slipping out of my hand. And I'm trying to like catch it. So I'm trying to like scoop my arm under my clothes, catch the tumbler. Guys, it's a disaster. So I don't know what happened. Lost balance, trying to catch everything and make sure tea didn't fall. I literally go like stumbling into one of the walls of the side of the hallway. I try to get my balance. I'm trying to get the tea tumbler. I'm trying to get them close. So I'm stumbling now into the other side of the wall. So I'm like ping-ponging. What is it? Ping-ponging off one wall to the other. So I'm literally basically knocking on the walls of the people in the room. So people are coming out into the hallway because they're like, what's going on? Why are people knocking on my door? I'm like, oh my God. At this point, I'm losing everything. The tea's going. The clothes are going. I'm trying to keep them in my hands. I'm going boom, boom, boom. I don't even know how this happened. I just lose it. My laundry literally goes up into the air like a movie. Up into the air and falls everywhere. My roommate at this point is out in the hallway because she's like, what's the commotion? She is cracking up like in the doorway. In the hallway of the dorm. C is still walking. This is still happening. He's still coming my way. Like, this is not, what? Anyway, and so I'm like sitting here like, oh my God, I fall the most dramatic way. So, whatever. Everything goes in the air. I fall. As I'm on the floor, I'm like trying to like, get your underwear. Get your bras. Like, I am like freaking out. Because I'm like, first of all, what is the big deal? In the moment, it was a gigantic deal. I was like, this is embarrassing. This is my first year in college. What is happening? I'm going to be bra lady. What? And so I was like, trying to grab everything. And I realized, especially after the fact, that the tumbler had a top on it. Come on. It was going to be fine. Anyway. And so I'm like picking up all this stuff. My roommate is not even helping me. She's dying laughing because she's watching the whole thing, probably in slow-mo in her mind. And she's like rolling around. She is rolling around on the floor. I can see her in my mind right now, like theater of the mind. I can see her in my mind rolling around on the floor, cracking up. And at this point, I just sit there. I got like my clothes in my lap. See somebody that he knows that's out in the hallway now because, I woke everybody up. Well, it wasn't even late. I didn't wake everybody up, but I did a bat signal with all my bumping up into the hallways. Gratefully, he's like talking to someone down the hall anyway. And so I'm like, Nisha, just make a run for it. I like pick up all my stuff and I'm like darting to my room. It was like the worst. I can laugh about it now. First of all, our roommate didn't talk to me for the first 10 minutes I was in my room because she could not stop laughing. And I didn't cry or anything, guys, okay? I didn't cry. But I was just like, oh my gosh, everybody saw me. Everybody blah, 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 blah. I don't think anybody really actually cared. But it was hilarious. It's a funny story to tell. I love that story to tell that story. But I think it's just a good picture of crap happens, man. Crap happens. And we gotta learn how to laugh at ourselves, man, because it's not gonna stop happening, And that's just reality. It just really, really is. It's just gonna happen. Like how I just recorded 15 minutes of a podcast that just got deleted, and I don't even know how that happened, but it's my first podcast, guys. You know what I mean? So we gotta laugh at ourselves. Let's just say that. There's your story. You got your story today. Once again, I am Niche, and on this podcast, we're going to talk about the messy stuff, the dirty stuff, the hard stuff, the funny and embarrassing stuff, and it's going to be great. I'm going to have people on here. It's going to be great. And laughing and crying. We're going to bring the deep. We're going to bring the levity. As my husband would say, he'll scuba dive down. I got my snorkel gear. I'm going to come up for air with the levity, with the fun, with the funny. And I'm just excited. This is definitely a lighter show. It's definitely like just me playing around with having a podcast for the first time. It's pretty cool, guys. But how you feel? That's what I want to know. How you feel? What topics do you guys want me to talk about in the future shows? Are we talking relationships? Are we talking dating? Are we talking dating your spouse? Are we talking who does the dishes? Come on, boundaries, forgiveness, resentment. What do we want to talk about? Because I am ready and I want to hear from you guys, period. Make sure to reach out to me by checking out the podcast episode page on unleashthe.niche.com. Unleash the THA niche.com. Or, of course, you could always email me, laugh at unleash the niche, unleash the THA niche.com. And yep, there's more. There's a Patreon. If you want to be a part of the niche gang, well, come on over. And we got exclusive content over there. So, once again, come comment on the podcast episode page at unleashthe.niche.com, unleashthe.niche.com, or email in at laugh@unleashthe.niche.com, laugh@unleashthe.niche.com. I want to hear from you. What do you want me to talk about in future shows? You know me? And also, I am excited. I hope this podcast brings healing, restoration, and that we have fun together. Stay on this journey with me. It's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? Maybe we can impact the world or something. I don't know. I'll leave you with that. Bye!